Okay, today's date is October 26th, 2025. It's a Sunday, 26th of October, 2025. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Bill's time, it's 9 a.m. Central Time. And we're going to talk about a TFL related topic. And we're going to be talking about my disagreement with Bill or slight disagreement. Mine deals with demographics, his deals with social engineering. I agree that both of them fall hand in hand. So go ahead, Bill. Tell me what you think.
Well, my opinion on a shortage of women, there is no shortage of women. Now, we might have less women in our country now due to all the migration, all the foreigners that were brought in. But as far as a shortage of women, there is no shortage of women. And I say that openly because of my own experiences with raising my kid and going to the school system. And
Right.
even after he's of age, I'm going and picking up Anthony from the high school right here in my hometown, and it's
Right.
no different than it was in Minnesota. Okay, I got a bus stop sits outside my door almost 6 years now, and you look at that in the morning time if they're out there. There's always more girls than there is boys at this one bus stop. Okay,
Right.
when I go to the high school and I'm sitting out there waiting to school to get out for Anthony to come out, what do I see? I see probably equally as many girls, if not more, as I do boys.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
anecdotal. I give
and
you
when I
that. That's
see
true. I
that,
see the same thing too. Okay. So,
then and if I go to like the emergency room when I was in there,
mhm,
I've been there twice in the last couple months, and what I see in there,
right.
90% female.
Okay. Well,
End
we
of
know that
story.
women use emergence. That was the big controversy about when Obama made healthcare so-called equal for all, which it never was equal for all. He said he's going to make women pay the same price as men, but women clearly use it more than men. So one
Well,
thing,
yeah, but these were what I'm not talking about patients in the emergency room.
yeah.
I'm talking about medical staff.
Yes, okay. That's fleeting. Let me just get into what I wanted to say real quick. I'm on board with you with the social engineering because we all know that radical feminism has destroyed relationships. But what I think, remember how you used to use the term people look at the symptoms and they don't want to deal with the cause of the problem. You said the symptom. So the symptom is women's bad behavior and treatment of the bad treatment of men, and the cause of the problem you said is the social engineering. Okay, I would take it a
That would
step
be true.
further and say that the symptom is the social engineering and the bad behavior, but also the cause of it could be that when you have too many men competing for limited resource, i.e., available fertile women, you're going to create an environment that makes it easier to do that. Because
Well,
if
yeah, I would agree with that.
okay,
Okay, but I would have to say upon what you said.
okay,
Okay, when you get the social engineering, which is the perception, which is no more than mind control, you get so many people that want to fit in with other people because they don't
right,
want to be the outcast,
mm-hmm,
even amongst girls. They
right,
want to fit in with the other girls, so they have their cliques. It's no different than when I was my last job at Modern Molding. We're talking people in their 30s and 40s that you think they're still in junior high.
mm-hmm,
They're running in their cliques. And if you don't fit into the mold that they have in their brain that they all fit into,
right,
you're an outcast. Okay. And the reality would be when you get people that want to fit in, which happens with a lot of people, both
right,
genders, they don't want to be the outcast. They want to fit in.
right,
Okay. So what do? They group think.
right,
And if they group think, everything you was ever taught in your life is all part of it. So if I said social engineering is MK Ultra, is Hollywood, is music, the music industry, is the school system, it becomes your belief. And if you go into universities, especially in today's world, you find out that they have more females in universities attending
that
the
okay.
school
And I'm
than
not,
there is
I'm not
males.
right, and I'm not disputing that. But what I'm saying is that I mentioned previously, and we've watched Raymond Thoughts and Mind bitch about complain about the dating scene, and he's like, "Oh, you'll never find a woman in this world." And I did a real quick 1 minute clip, and I says, "You're fighting in a sea where you have immigration, where you have the baby boomers, which is your generation and younger, older, that double, triple dipped into this pool of available women." And what you wind up having is a cluster, pardon my language, clusterfuck of situations where you got multiple immigrations. Most immigration that comes over from all these countries like India, for example, in this country of Canada, it's all Indian guys, Indians, and they're straight guys. They want to have women. Well, where do they go? They go to the white women, the available women. So I believe that we're artificially inflating the market with too many excess men, which
No,
causes
I
more.
can agree with that
Yeah,
because you had all these immigrants come in, and I can agree with what you're saying because
they
that's
only
adding more men.
yeah, and they refer to it as military age men. So we're talking men that are fertile age men, like men that can impregnate women at that,
Yeah,
you know?
I do agree with that because that is an obvious in your face.
Right,
But the thing that's not obvious in people's faces, you have people like years ago that even you would remember, like Dan and Jen.
right,
Okay, this was sending a message. They were directing this at young girls. And when you really pay attention, you see this is nothing's 100%, but you do have a high number of women that want to chase after the same type of guy.
right,
So they chase after their same type of guy, which in most cases, these women are delusional, the social engineering. They have the fantasy in their head of what they're looking for that, of course, don't exist. And if it does
right.
exist, it's only a small number of men
Hmm.
and they refuse to settle. So when these women do that, then even these foreigners that come over,
Right.
well, I'm sorry, but you're not this tall. You don't make this much money. You don't this, you don't that. So they just blow them off too, and they blow them off. And then they say, well, I can't find nobody. But you've rejected how many people this year? Then they get mad
Hmm.
because maybe they rejected you, Steve, in 2.5 seconds.
How about
Okay.
zero? How about 0.1 seconds?
That might work too, okay?
Your brain
So,
is don't. Yeah,
so the reality sits that the problem, even before the migrants come over here, which just done nothing but inflate the problem, right?
right.
Still came from the fact that these females want to fit into this demographic and they have this fantasy in his head. And remember, nothing's 100% across the board. And when they do this, what they do is they reject almost every guy because they got this fantasy going on in their head that don't exist. And they create their own, they create their own problem. Sometimes I smile and say to them, enjoy TFL, but you're not TFL. You're self produced
Yeah,
because you rejected blah 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 blah. See what
right.
I'm saying? Where
Yeah,
you, on the other hand, Steve, you didn't reject, you got rejected
right.
over and
Hmm.
over and over. So
Right,
you're TFL,
right.
not. She's self-produced. She put herself in that situation.
Hmm. Well, they do, but the fact is that Canada would be the best example of it because the hostility that the women have over there is very in your face. They'll go up to you and say, "Don't look at me." That this has been reported to me multiple times. I've not been there. It'd be interesting for me to fly there because I'm right across the border from there. I could probably go there one time, take a trip, and just see what it's like there. But it's interesting. It is interesting.
Now, I've heard what you said about Canada, and I'm in your shoes there. I've not been there.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from talking with Joe, he lives in Melbourne, Australia.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Another
I witnessed, oh my,
anti-male hellhole.
oh, and I witnessed his own mother, man. This guy was in his 30s. Okay. And he's talking to me. And I see this lady standing in the background, like down a hallway of the place he's living in.
Right.
And she starts walking along the wall like she's creeping to stay out of the camera range. And I'm watching her do it. Okay. She come up and got out of camera range, was right next to him, and he muted the mic and looked up. And you knew what was going on. She was ripping him an ass because blah, 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 blah. But when you really pay attention in the conversations I've had and what I've seen over in Australia,
Hmm.
oh my God, the women over there are toxic as hell. You
Yeah.
know what I say to TFL nowadays, and I used to never say this? You dodged a bullet.
Right.
Because think of it this way. You may have been pushed to be alone and you didn't want to be alone, which is TFL. But when you look at the behaviors and how men are being treated, then you have to think to yourself, you'd be better off to be alone.
Right.
Because at least when you're alone, Steve, you go to work and make your money's yours, and you ain't got to wait. Your wife's out there, your woman's out there spending your money faster than you can make it.
Right.
Okay? You ain't got to worry about walking through the door. And believe me, my own life experience tells me this because I've experienced it for more than one female. You ain't got to do a damn thing. You can be on your everything and do nothing wrong to her, and she will reach up her anal and
Right.
pull out an excuse to attack you with.
Mm-hmm.
Drama and chaos.
Drama and chaos.
Why would you want to have drama and chaos around the clock in your house?
Mm-hmm.
Because what? You got her alongside you?
Right.
Why? She's going to leave you broke. She's going to destroy your life, make living hell for you. So
Mm-hmm.
unless you like fighting and drama, okay, being manipulated and lied to, and when she's through, already had enough of you, you're a piece of garbage. She's going to throw you away because she has so many options she can run to
Right.
that you don't got. Okay. So really, TFL in a way, you dodged a bullet.
Right.
You didn't
Well,
have to go
that's
through
the
all
old
that.
saying, be careful what you wish for. Because there's guys that are married that they're so miserable that they're like, damn, you single guys got it made. And then here it's like, well, I don't get laid. Well, then they're like, I don't get laid either, and I'm married, you know?
That's exactly it. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's not going without, believe me, because when you're working and she's not going to tell you, she's out there playing and she goes and meets somebody and you know nothing about it because you're at work. And
She
by the
doesn't need
time
to
you
cheat
know
on
about
you.
it,
She
she's
gets
already
attention.
throwing you away. She's with them now.
Right. She gets attention from men. So attention's all they need to make them happy, you know?
Oh, yeah, that validation over and over and over.
Right.
Okay. And that's why I said, even what you're seeing going on online of everything that you and I've done over the years, we're seeing all these people now coming up talking the same stuff that we went into with nausea for all these years, okay? But it's part of the agenda. Because in the end, that's why they're giving you predictions that this many women will be single and then by 2030, because they're finishing off their agenda, man.
Right.
Divide and conquer, split up the family unit, and the man and woman being together. Watch the movie 1984. They showed you it in it.
Mhm.
Predictive programming.
Right.
Pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to people's behaviors. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going and getting laid, but I'm saying this: if you go get laid and get her pregnant, you got 18 years of child support she comes after you
Yeah.
for.
That's if she wants your kid in the first place. That's
Exactly,
that's
exactly.
if she
But
even wants your kid.
you
This myth
know,
that so many guys are living TFL, they're like, oh, dude, like, don't get her pregnant. It's like, you ain't even getting laid at all. What are you talking about?
well, if you get her pregnant by not getting laid, there's something going on that you're not telling us.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, that's sort of like she drank a glass of water and got pregnant.
Yeah.
BS, BS alert. I mean, but what we got is a situation that was always an agenda to begin with. And they just done up and amplified because when you bring all these foreigners over, you know, you brought
All
all these foreigners in here.
military age men. That you're hearing that term,
Yes.
military age men.
Well, I love the perks because they're telling you right in your face, military
It
men.
means horny scrodes. Horny
So they
scrote
get to
sex.
place sleeper cells in your country, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah, horny
Okay.
men.
And you think
Sleepers.
about all these young men from Afghanistan.
That's
And
right. They
then you
brought
go
in like
back.
150, 75,000. The ones
Yeah.
the
And then
hanging on
you
the
go
wing.
back, to 9/11. And what were we doing with Afghanistan in 9/11? Now we're talking 20 something years later. These young military age men, they're going to remember whatever BS or what was taught in their country. And if our government arms them and puts them on the street,
Oh
they
God.
already hate you for killing their people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, so it's not a good situation. But they're not going. They're going to run into they're going to run into the square problem that every other man did, except for maybe they'll be more violent. Maybe they'll get laid by doing what they should never do and beat the hell out of a rape or something. But that's not the point. The point is, they're going to walk up to the average American female, and if you don't fit the fatties in her head, she's just going to reject you and maybe 0.1
Or
step.
they're not going to be attracted to these men and say, "Protect me, men," and there'll be no men to protect them.
You got a point there. You really do. Okay.
Men are not. There's no white knights nowadays. There's not enough white knights to protect these women anymore. It's
No, the white knight will be outnumbered by guys that ain't going to. And if you say something, you're going to wind up,
yeah,
because the reality is it's gone on for so long now. The abuse on the men by women has gone for so long that
yeah,
you may have brought all these in. They're going to hit on, but they're going to walk right into the same wall that all of these TFL men walked into. Oh,
uh-huh,
you're not 6 foot something. Oh, you don't have this. Oh, you don't got that. I'm not because she knew, she knew the minute she laid her eyes on you.
right,
Okay. So, they're just going to run right into TFL,
right,
but maybe they're more aggressive. They're from another country. Maybe they don't care.
yeah,
Maybe they're going to get laid anyhow, whether she wants to or not.
right. Well, one thing women are
Okay.
notorious for is when the invader comes in, they spread their legs for them. Hey,
Well, I can't
that's
argue with you
crazy
there.
because like you saw all these German women that married American GIs after the war. It's like your country was just devastated by these people, and then you want to marry them? It makes no sense, you know?
Well, it's sort of like the woman who loves chaos and drama. Steve, the nice guy comes in last.
Yeah,
You got to have chaos and drama. I don't call that love. That's called destruction.
yeah,
Can you imagine, Steve? You got a woman in your life. It's your day off. She spends her day making drama with you and treating you like a complete piece of dirt all day
right.
long. Yelling at you, cussing at you, treating you like dirt, putting you down, gaslighting you. Now,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Steve, she wants you to go to bed with her to make up to her because you need to make up to her.
If you're lucky.
All right. Oh, yeah, but I wouldn't even call that lucky. That would be like the equivalent of me taking a baseball bat and beating you upside the head all day, Steve.
I don't
And
know any
then at
woman
the end
that's
of the
doing
day,
makeup. I don't know any
yeah.
guy that's getting makeup sex from his wife. Hey, are you kidding me? Women
Well, that wouldn't even
are,
be make up sex.
that's something
Why
that's
would you make up to the abuser? You've
yeah.
done nothing wrong. She beat you in the head with a baseball bat all day, and then you're supposed to somehow say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and you're supposed to make up to somebody that you've done nothing to.
Most men don't get to that. Where TFL is so insane though, Bill. Most guys aren't getting a woman that'll make up and have sex with them. Crying out loud.
Well, I know, I
No,
understand what
you're sounding like
I
a
totally
boomer. You know, like
understand what you're
somebody.
saying.
Yeah,
I totally understand what you're saying. Makeup sex is dead, right?
it's dead
But
because there's nobody's getting laid anymore. Nobody's getting
well, yeah.
relationships.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just thinking, I'm just saying it in the
You're
aspect that
sounding like Paul Elam
if
now.
you really think about it, okay, if you really thought about it, and somebody, I don't care if she's a hot looking female or not, if she treated you lower than dirt an entire day long
Oh, guys don't care as
and
long as they're
gave
getting
you a
laid.
footing hell, why would you even be in the mood to go make love to
Well,
somebody who just,
that's you saying that. That's not most guys are simps nowadays. They're
well,
simps,
I'm not saying you're wrong. We
right?
do got one hell of a lot of sims,
When
right?
something is scarce, like getting a woman, you're going to put up with any abuse, and whatever crumb of punani she gives you, you're going to take it. I mean, Bill, you're speaking,
Well, I
you're
don't call
trying
that a
to use
man.
your logic. This is where we disagree. Your logic is, well, who'd want that? 90% of men would want that.
Well, I'm not arguing with you because I know what you're saying about the simps, but
Yeah,
I also say this about that simp. He still wants that.
right.
As far as I'm concerned, you know what I say to a simp? I need to send you to the hospital. What for? Well, nowadays we promote transsexual. You're not a man anyhow, so let's just cut that
And
shit
another
off.
thing they talk
You're a
about,
disgrace to a real man.
right. Well, they used to make fun of this about 15 years ago on YouTube. They would have these women that would make fun of their husbands. They'd say, "Well, he's my little cuck," and they'd say, "Well, I go out and screw, and then I screw him, and then I go out and screw another guy and screw him." Well, here's the thing: they're making fun of these guys. These guys that make fun of cucks aren't getting anything. They're not getting anything. So at least the cuck is getting punani when he wants it. The guy that makes fun
Well,
of the cuck's getting
yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
I have to also thought I'm going to just be sarcastic here for a moment. Maybe he's getting more than he thinks.
Yeah.
Maybe he got lucky and he got there. Then he found out he had some crabs or he had some herpes or he had
Right.
some VD
Yeah.
because he got a prize to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it'd be like awkward being
Women don't cuck
sarcastic.
guys. You know what I
I don't
find
want to
out?
strap a 4x4x8 to my ass to keep from falling in. Hell, I could park my van in that hole. It's like a double car garage down there.
Yeah, but there's no shortage of guys that want that double car garage.
I'll tell me about it. Where'd he go? He fell
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Damn.
No, I agree with what you're saying on that aspect. I'm being sarcastic because
No,
in
most
my
guys, I did a video back in '08 when I was doing.
I will not lower myself to this is me though, okay? You gotta remember
No,
this
that's
is me
you. That's
because
not 90% of men, though. That's not
no,
90% of
it's
modern
not.
day men. You can't
But
use
I
your
would call
logic.
these I would call a lot of these men not a man myself. That's me, okay?
Right.
Because the reality is if you're a real man and she disrespects you
What?
and
I
treats
don't
you
even
like
like that term, a
dirt.
real man. That's another term. A real man. Ah,
I understand.
yeah.
But being disrespected
Yeah.
and rewarding somebody for disrespecting you
Okay.
is to say, I approve of you abusing me.
Right. Okay, a real man, like a woman says, that guy, he touched my butt. I'm gonna kill him, and then you go out to kill him, and then he kills you, and then she gets you killed because you got to be a man, you know?
Oh, well, that's not a real man anyhow, because the reality is what if she lied? And
Yeah.
what if she openly wanted to go there with you, then after she was through doing it with you,
Right.
she got mad at you for something and just turned it all upside down on its head and says you did something you didn't do.
Right.
And here
I was
comes the
watching
white
this.
knight to
There
tell.
was this episode of Little House on the Prairie, and I guess the wife, what's his? I forget what his wife's name is on the show, but she had an altercation with the guy, and he grabbed her, touched her, and she goes, "Charles, he touched me! I'm gonna get him!" And okay, you're gonna start and beat a guy to death and get a felony because you had to prove you're a man. You know?
Right, and then you're gonna go to prison and you're gonna get married to Bubba.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay,
There,
so
that's a real man for you.
and now are you a man or are you the girl?
Yeah.
I don't want to know which one it is because I don't want to
And
see
then
it
she's
myself.
out there after protecting her. But let's keep it on the straight and narrow here. So, anyways, so my feeling is like this. You've talked about the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the social engineering that's been involved in making women hate men, and I believe what precedes that is men are in such abundance. There's no shortage of horny men that want women, and because you look at the online personal ads, men way outnumber the women.
Well, I agree with you there because think of it this way. Even so, if you have a high number of women chasing a small percentage of the men, that's going to leave
Artificial, yeah, it's
one
artificial.
heck of a lot of men to have nobody, and they're all going to be competing against each other to get two.
Yeah,
Okay, so, and that means even the woman that's not thinking like the majority of women do, right?
right.
Because nothing's 100%. She
Mm,
still has to make a choice. What choice does the guy have?
right. That's true.
It goes right back to what choice does the guy have? So you're
None.
right back to TFL again, all over.
Yep.
So, they can flood this country with military age men, and you're still going to have the problem.
Yep. Military age men. That's all we need is more military age men.
We don't need it, but we got it.
But we have it, and it's here. So my feeling is that this problem will not end in our lifetime. And I'm talking about Raymond thoughts and mind. He's a very cerebral guy. He's in his brain. You ever watch his videos? How he goes into those rants and he just but the guy is in his brain. He's complaining about the dating scene and he's very accurate about it. But we discovered this almost 20 years ago. So it's nothing new.
Well, that's why I say when I watch this stuff, I'm not seeing nothing that I haven't already said or you haven't already said.
Yeah.
We talked about this, the stuff they're talking about, nausea for
Yeah.
all these years. And then we go quiet for a while. And look what we got everywhere now, man. They're and they don't get booted off YouTube. No, they get a lot of subs and they get this and they get that. but they ain't saying nothing we haven't already said.
Yeah. There was a guy named Thug Titian. He actually has an archive. His a lot of his stuff's been deleted, but Thug Titian was an audio only. He was a Jamaican guy living in England, and he actually had good stuff too around the time we were doing it. So there were a couple people in our neck of the woods that were doing this, you know?
There was. There was a few people that, I was talking with Dave and stuff in one of the series that we used to do.
Yeah.
It happened again.
Oh,
You remember that
what did
one?
you with the and she oh God, I don't want to get graphic here. It was really bad. Remember you did your thing. You had to have the bad boy. You had to have the bad boy.
Yep.
The girl that had the acid thrown in her face. You go, there she
Okay, that was Katie Piper.
What's that?
Her name was Katie Piper.
Katie Katie Piper. Yeah, you had to have the bad boy.
Yep. And she was going to be that model. Well, was.
Oh, geez, that's horrible. I mean, I don't. That was brutal. That guy's a piece of shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was totally brutal, and I don't
No,
never
no, no. The
condone.
guy, that guy. But see, that shows you the level to which when you get involved with a crazy guy like that, you can't break up with them. You can't. You're done. You know. Once
No, you
woman
break up with
submits,
him, and you might be broken in three pieces, and they'll find you laying somewhere.
one of the things that women are good at doing now, and that was 15 years ago or whatever. What's changed now, and this is true, is that women, and Hell about the Dashboard Light talked about this, Alex Dashboard. Women don't even want a guy that potentially could physically hurt them anymore. They'd rather deal not. That's why you see a lot of oofy doofy guys dating women now because they're terrified that they could be the next Katie Piper or some guy just.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I remember I did a thing with back in 2020. Do you remember Minnie Rodriguez?
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah,
I did an hour interview with her.
did you?
We talked for almost an hour, and she was telling me the dating scene, and she lives up in the New York area, and they go out, blah, 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 with her friends.
Yeah,
And when she got through describing what she's doing, the way the women are, and what they're looking for, I said, so you're not chasing after bad boys no more. She says, no. And I says, so you're chasing after simps. She says, yeah. I
yeah.
says, because you're looking for a slave. She says,
Right.
that's
That's the new
exactly right.
trend. That's the new trend. And so she had, I think somebody told me she had an Italian boyfriend that was really pussy whipped or something.
Yeah, she does. So she says, no, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
She says, the friends I run with, we're all looking for the same. We would
Right.
prefer a simp, somebody
They
that's
need the guy that
not going to come.
if they break up with them, it won't get violent. Because these violent guys, once you get in a relationship, you're done. You'll never get away from them. You get a restraining order, they'll burn the house down and go to prison for life before they're weird people. Women have learned, and thank God they have, that there are some really violent guys out there that you need to get
Yeah.
the hell away
Well,
from.
you remember back in the day, I made a statement, okay, that they'd gotten so smart that they figured out how to create their very own killer.
Yeah. Well, they find a way to undo it too now, but they don't.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they have because I looked at it for what it
These
really
guys, these
was.
violent guys are pieces of shit. We can't admire them. They're not. They're people that would beat you up in a bar in no problem and not care. You know.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, you got violent guys out
You and
there.
I don't start
And
fights
don't
with
never
people.
disregard the fact that you do have violent women as well.
Right.
And you say, well, but they can't with a guy, but I'll tell you what.
They can because they can back it
You
up
come
with.
home from work and she's waiting on the other side of the door and you have no inkling with it with a baseball bat or a hammer
It don't
or
happen
even a
that often.
gun.
Come on, Bill.
It don't
That's
happen very often,
It's
but when it
very
does,
rare. It's not. It's more. A man
yeah.
is more apt to hit a woman in the past, at least. Not anymore, but like in the past, the brutal people are usually the men. That's just how it is.
Yeah, well, I understand what you're saying. Now, in the statistics of things, when it comes to domestic abuse,
Yeah.
okay, it can be proven and shown that 80% easy
Yeah.
of domestic abuse is instigated by the female.
Right. Instigated by the female.
But when it comes to violence,
Yeah.
even the women that abuse the guy ends up on the short end of the stick,
Right.
okay, because the guy physically, you
Yeah.
know, but I don't want anybody to do that. When I say they created their own killer,
Right.
I mean, it's no different than anything else. If
Women
you
have
abuse
found, I'll tell you what,
somebody,
in the last 15 years, what modern day women have found is a way to get rid of vet out those guys that were like that. Those violent guys, those guys are not doing very well in the women dating scene because women have figured out that I don't want a man that could hurt me. And those guys are dangerous. They're guys that thank God that that Katie Piper's most women aren't dealing with guys like that anymore, you know?
well, guys like that are dangerous not just to the women, but to everybody around them.
Yeah, around them, right. Those are the
Okay,
guys
because
that harass you at
they're not
work
going to care.
when they want you to do something dangerous and then they scream in your face and say to you, "You're not a man, you big pussy, you big pussy." And then you get hurt on the job. And I had this happen a couple times, really badly hurt on a job, and they're the ones telling you what to do, you know. And it's yeah. But anyways, we're getting off. Uh, you're just kind of my whole thing is that I'll say it like this. Mitchell said it. This will never end in our lifetime, and I think the social engineering, what they're doing now, I mean, that's what Mitchell told me 12 years ago or 10 years ago. But the social engineering is really amazing because they're kind of transitioning into a new dawn of a new era, it seems, you know?
Well, I would agree with that
Mm-hmm.
because this is exactly what the social engineering was designed to do.
All right.
And that's exactly what's going on. They're controlling everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to have no control because they're controlling it.
Right.
Behavior, information taken in, and behavior is crucial
Right.
because the behavior is what leads us to where we're at right now.
Right.
What do you do?
I don't know.
You're in a rock and a hard spot.
Right.
And getting people to understand how they're treating each other and to change, well, they spent a long time getting us here, and you're not turning it around overnight. So if you're going to say this ain't coming to an end in your lifetime, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because they spent the last 50, 60 years doing this.
Bill, you know what? You almost have to live and see things. You can't go out in public. And I've said this before about like observations at amusement parks or going to a rib burn off. A guy and a girl, guy holding hands with a girl. It's always the guy and a girl because those are the only people that go out in public. Single men stay home. They knew
Well, now that part, I can't even argue with you on that part.
always a guy and a
I
girl, guy
mean,
and a girl, guy and a
you're
girl.
not going to go, you're not going to be invited to some pig roast or some big event that's full of couples and you're the single guy.
Yeah, single dudes
You're
are.
not going to get invited there. And then if you did, why would you even want to go? Most likely you'll say, nah, I'll stay home,
Yeah,
and you're going to do your own thing.
right.
So if you go to something like that, what you're going to see is, and if you go to an amusement park, what are you going to see? You're going to see families, you're going to see children, okay? Because you just walked into an environment that this is where these people go. But if you want to take the percentage of TFLers, which is a big number,
Oh God, it's over
I mean,
50% of
what are we
men
going to
now.
have? Well, we're going to open an amusement park for TFLers.
So I'd say between 18 and 50, it's probably half the men. Half the men are divorced or not in any relationship, haven't had sex in years. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
I would have
The
to
vast
say
majority. I know too many guys that verify this.
the number could even be higher.
It could be higher. I almost can verify that the people that you meet that say, "Oh, my sons are all married, doing very well." You don't know that. They could be lying about it, you know? I run
Well,
it.
I could see him lying about it.
Well, here's why. Because every time
Because
I
if you're in denial about it, if you're in denial and you come up and I was in denial of something you
everybody claims
said,
that all seven of their sons are
rather
all
than
married and
giving you a
happily having kids.
rational reason, yeah, it's sort of like telling somebody who believes in whichever side they want to believe your opinion, and they attack you because, oh no, that's what you're walking into. You're not going to get somebody to think something, especially if, well, I have 3 children, they're all guys, and they're all going up married, and blah 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 blah. You know,
Right,
you don't know if they're telling you the truth, but they're sure not going to break their ego. I mean, they're going
right,
to do what they do.
right.
We know what we're talking about here is absolutely true.
Hmm.
but we're not allowed to control the narrative.
Bill, I
So,
want to get into the demographic thing. You say, well, I see lots of women all the time. That's like saying I see couples all the time. You're seeing them in selective places. College is selectively going to have more women. Another thing I'm seeing is that these really pretty girls that are at the gym nowadays, you never see these girls in public. They only come out to go to the gym and then they're disappear. They're off the market. Like I never see these girls in public places. They're only at the gym, and it's weird. I go to like a. Do you ever go to like a speedway, a rundown speedway gas station, or one of those mini mart gas stations? You almost never see pretty girls pumping gas or in those places. It's always some trashy white girl with tattoos all over her neck and everything. You know?
oh, well, you see that everywhere nowadays.
Yeah.
My observation when I'm saying I see girls is like when I was at Jason's graduation, his high school was outside of town. It was like 4 or 5 miles out of town in Minnesota, but that high school was absolutely huge.
Hmm.
I mean, huge. Okay. And it handled 4 freaking towns.
Right.
Okay. So you go here for his graduation, you
Right.
wind up standing outside just to get through the door in a 3-man line for almost 2 hours before you even get to the door because there was that many people.
Where was this
When
at?
you go and when you go in there, this gym they had was huge, okay? And you go in there and you sit and you see as people are graduating, you see the amount of females and you see the amount of males, and you're like, wow, okay, you see all this. And then of course, when I come here and I pay attention to that, and I see what I don't see is a shortage of females.
You don't see a shortage because you're seeing them in a congested thing called a school. But when you go out in public, those women are swept off the market immediately. They're not available. Nothing's explaining all these men that we're bringing into the country, and it's you're looking at a demographic of men between a certain age. Oh well, there's more. Bill, I'm moving the goalpost to say there's probably twice as many men competing for women at least. It's huge. It's massive.
Well, the number of men competing for women,
It's huge. It could be 4 to 1.
it is huge, but think of it in the other aspect too. When you get groupthink involved and you get a whole bunch of girls chasing after the same percentage of men, they
Hmm.
automatically took themselves
Or
off the
not
market.
even, or in what I call perpetual dating limbo. They don't even make
Huh,
up their mind at all.
okay? And unfortunate as it is, years ago it used to be they said 80-20, 80-20, 8% of women chasing 20% of the men. There was a recent article that come out just a little under a year ago in United Kingdom,
Yeah.
okay, that showed what was it 97% of women over there
Right.
are chasing after 3% of the men.
Right.
Okay. Now you look at them numbers, okay, and you think about over the years, I wouldn't even say here in America it's an 80-20 no more.
Mhm.
I'd say more like 95-5.
Right.
Okay. And if you get a high number of women chasing after a small percentage of men, you're going to have men up the yin yang doing exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay. And they're still going to get nothing because what can these women, if they're chasing after the small number, it don't mean necessarily there's a shortage of women, but there'd be a shortage of brain dead. There wouldn't be no shortage of brain dead women. Okay.
Right.
Because the reality is, and of course, nothing's 100%. I've always said that.
Right.
Nothing is. Okay. But unfortunate as it is, when you have a high number of women chasing after a small percentage of men, then that means that's more men that'll never stand a chance.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Hmm.
And then, of course, when you bring more foreigners in,
Yeah.
the only thing you're doing is making that small number even smaller.
Right.
And of course, that's the overflow is men.
Yeah.
Automatically, the overflow is going to be men.
That's true.
So, I don't know how else to say it. I don't think it's as much of a shortage as it is the social engineering, the
Right.
group thing, the amount of women that are chasing a small percentage.
Small percentage. Yeah. But it gets
Okay.
back to the what's that small percentage? We've agreed that women don't want violent men. So if they don't want the violent bad boy, then what do they want? Maybe, I mean, like, what would they if you say I say it's demographics, I think it's at the top of the pyramid. But let's say you're right, that they're really chasing this small percentage of men. And we agree that they don't want violent men anymore. Those guys can kill you if they break up.
Right.
The simp will just cry and kill himself. He won't go out and kill a woman. So the small percentage of men must be an elite class of guys with money, prestige, power. I don't know what it is.
I would have to say
Some assuming. I
six
think
pack
not.
abs, 6-figure income,
Right,
6 foot plus. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I don't know. This is crazy, but there was when I was my last job, there was this
I don't buy into the
female
six
that was a
pack.
dwarf.
Yeah,
Now, Christmas, I was sitting at a table. This gal was a dwarf.
right. But this is an
She had
Anna.
to reach up to the doorknob, dude, to open the doorknob.
Yeah,
She's sitting there, and we're sitting there in second ops that one night working, and she's sitting there talking to Canvas. We're sitting next to each other, right? And I'm sitting right next to him. And she's talking about the type of guy she wants. This little dwarf girl was rejecting everybody, man. She was a little dwarf. She was heavy set, and she was chasing, and she wanted a guy that had to be at least 6'4". And I'm thinking, what? You want to carry extension ladder with you to climb up it to give him a kiss?
yeah. Oh, and
You know?
I'm only 4 foot 11.
So, and I'm like, that's retarded. I mean, you're reaching up to the doorknob and you got to have somebody. Oh, wow. I get just like freaked out when she was saying this. I was like, wow, you can be alone
Right,
forever.
right,
Maybe she thinks she's so big and strong, he'll just pick her up and hold
right,
her. Because her little child wife, he holds her in one arm like a kid.
right.
I don't know, but that's where we're at. So what do we do?
I don't think there is a solution. I love what Mitchell said. This will not be resolved in our lifetime or in many lifetimes.
Well, that I agree. Well, it might be resolved. If you look on YouTube for a documentary series that was made professionally called Life on Earth After Humans.
Yeah, that one, the only problem with that one is they didn't explain what would happen to the nuclear power plants. Those things would be leaking radiation everywhere.
Well, no, I agree with
My
that.
brother, my brother said that. He said he liked the series, but the problem was is they left out that that's like saying living in your RV is great, but you never talk about taking a shit. Like where do you go? Like they leave out the inconvenient stuff. The stuff that we
Well, I got this bucket here, and I'm going. I got this at Farm and Fleet,
yeah
and I was laughing because I used to use a 5 gallon bucket and a toilet seat.
yeah
When I was doing remodels, I would have a house. I'd be out in the middle of nowhere, and I got this house guttered, and I got no bathroom in there right now.
yeah
And you need to do your thing.
yeah
So I carried a roll of toilet paper, a 5 gallon bucket, a little bit of water, okay, and a toilet seat. And I would put it close to the wall, and I'd put the toilet seat on it, and I would. You got to be very
ah
careful. You don't want to tip over when you're wiping.
yeah.
So, and then when I'm at Farm and Fleet, what did I see? A 5 gallon bucket with a toilet seat that was molded to snap onto the bucket.
Oh my God! Somebody got rich off that too.
And I'm going, wow, I don't
Yeah.
got to test it. I don't got to set it and
Well,
drive it back.
you know how you handle that, Bill. I thought about that. You would get two buckets. One would be filled with like fill dirt, and as you would poop every time, you would just keep filling it and just bury it. And then when you're done, you go to like a rural area and just throw the whole thing out. You could get rid of it that way. And then it's already in mud, so it's dirt.
I used to carry a little shovel with me,
Yeah,
and when I had to use the bucket,
yeah. It's
I would go out and dig a hole and pour it in it, cover it up like the old time outhouse, like my
Well,
grandma had,
that's
right?
how they did it, man. But these guys like,
Mhm.
oh, live in your RV. Yeah, what do you got to do when you got to take a dump?
What are you going to do when they come at you and say you can't live in your RV?
Yeah,
You can't live in your tent.
yeah,
You can't live in your vehicle. As they're attacking the homeless people. You're not allowed to live here. You're not allowed to live there.
yeah,
I mean, it's nasty. It's ugly,
yeah.
but yeah, I did. That's why when I was doing
Well,
rentals,
a lot
I
of
always
those
carried a
people
bucket.
that crap in the streets, they are drug addicts. No normal person does that. No, you would go to if me and you were homeless, we would strategically work it out so we wouldn't eat all day. But we would, if we had to go number two, we'd get like a gym membership, or we'd go to a Speedway when we bought our groceries or somewhere and use their bathroom and get the hell out, you know? But homeless people
Hmm.
they don't care. When they're on drugs, they don't, you know?
Yeah. But
Thank
you
God
can
I don't
see,
have that problem. Oh my God, how that'd be
but
awful.
when it comes to the demographics of the people who's watching Steve here, no, I like Steve a lot. We're friends, but at the same time, just like anything else in life, you don't always agree with somebody.
Right.
But it's not a reason to hate on somebody. It's
No,
not a
it's
reason.
not. I tend to think that Bill, um, that lady that there was that NPR interview from 2001. It's like 24 years old now, and that or 23, 24 years old. And the one guy in the he said that by the year 2010, and we're talking like 15 years now, that's passed since then. He said there would be two times as many single men as women, and they explained why. They said boomer guys were able to divorce their wives and remarry much younger. And I remember my dad owned a music store, and we'd always see these customers coming in. They're in their late 30s, and they'd have a 22-year-old girl they were engaged to. And it's like, how did these guys pull that off? And they were doing it in huge numbers. So I think that screwed up the things. And I do think men totally screwed this up. I don't believe women did this initially. I think men did it out of greed. They don't want to be married to that 40-year-old woman anymore. I've got to get a younger girl. And thanks a lot, you made it bad for the next generation. You know? Yeah.
Well, I think there's a combination there
I think it's no. I
because
think you
the
can't
social
underestimate
engineering
what.
goes back before we were born.
God,
I would say it went back long before we
most
existed
boomer
or I
men, most
existed.
guys born between 45 and 65 have been married and divorced multiple times. Multiple times. They go back in.
Oh, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but all that shows me is they already failed because when you got to get married and divorced, you failed. And if you look, in today's society, when you look at the divorce rates, you find out the majority of divorces are actually instigated by females,
I
not
know,
by.
but not. I believe that there was a period where men were trading their older wives in. I do. I don't think the women were that because when they came out with that American dating service, or it was called Matchmaker International, that was 1984. And the biggest customers there were young guys in their early 20s, like guys trying to get a woman, couldn't find one because of double dipping. And then there were women like 38 to 40 that couldn't find another man because they were divorced. And now women nowadays look so good in their 40s, you can't even tell. So a woman,
Oh well, then that's a double jeopardy thing too, because
a 40-year-old
the
year old
women
woman
that
back
are
in
divorced, the
1982
women
didn't
that
look
are
as good,
divorced that have children,
right?
okay, there's a lot of men that are not gonna, if they're young that want a woman, they're not gonna take a woman that's got children, okay,
They
because
will now.
now
They will now.
I think there's a lot of simps that would.
Oh, it's most
I
men.
don't
Most
think
men will
I don't
sell
think
for.
the simps. I don't think that would hold a simp back at all.
Mhm.
And we still have a lot of
The
simps.
only options that men have nowadays is to marry and date single women. That's the idea that there's some 25-year-old single girl just waiting for the right guy is just I don't think so. I think pretty much
Well, if you're 25, you think you're gonna wait and get this 25-year-old girl, blah blah blah. You will probably have your cane in your hand and you'll have gray hair and you'll be old and decrepit and still without her.
yeah,
You should have gave up years ago on waiting because it wasn't happening.
right,
And if it did happen, maybe you got the lottery. Maybe you didn't get the lottery. Maybe you got a chance to have her. You got some kids and she's with somebody else now and you're paying child support for the next 18, 20 years.
right.
I mean, in today's world, I didn't think, the reality is the reality. If you was a female, Steve, you would have had all the choice. And
Yep.
maybe you get tired of being with them, you can just jump to the next.
Something I
I
want to
know
get back to
guys
what
that's
you said
jumping to the
about
next.
Bill. I want to get back to what you said about you go to a doctor's office and all of this is these girls. Those girls all have husbands and boyfriends. They're all off the market. Those girls with the bubble butts,
Well, I'll bet you're right.
so you say, oh,
I'll
there's
bet you
all
they
these
are off the
women. They're
market.
all taken. They're not available. They're not every single one of those bubble butt girls with the nursing outfits on. They're all taken. They all got boyfriends. They're all married. Every one of them's got a big fat diamond ring.
I would have to agree that the majority are probably
A
just what you
vast
said.
majority of those girls you see at those
Yeah, I would
doctors.
have to agree that the majority of
So
the females in the medical establishment are taken.
they're
And the
taken. Yeah,
ones that ain't taken is only because they just got through going through divorce.
yeah,
Okay, I would agree with you on that. I would
yeah,
say when you go to a grocery store, a lot of the young cashiers are probably even still taken.
yeah. The
Okay.
girl with the fire breathing dragon tattoos going all up her face has got a pussy whip boyfriend. She's got a
Oh, I'll
boyfriend.
bet.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know,
she got the
and
nose. She's
unfortunate as it is, it still comes right back down to the same thing. You got this high number of men that are still going to be alone because you're not going to get enough women that want. And if they've already got who they want, then they don't want you. Maybe they'll have you after
I
this
think it's a
this guy, you
smorgasbord, Bill.
know?
I get back to my whole thing. If you had three men available for every one woman, you have it's like a kid in a candy store. You can't make up your mind what you want. Your mom says, well, you can only get three pieces or one of each, and then you see 5,000 of variations. Like there's no shortage of excess men. They're
Oh,
everywhere.
I keep looking for that. You know, I hear this all the time in the manosphere, that sexual marketplace.
It is a marketplace.
I keep looking for the sexual marketplace because I could walk in the door. Which side's the women on?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now I'll go over here and take my pick because it's a marketplace, right? And then
yeah.
right after I take my pick, it'll probably come up and say, you're not allowed. You're not allowed. You're not
Right.
allowed. Or sold out, sold out, sold out.
It's a sausage fest. It's I Bill. I think we are living in the dating. Bill, I remember back in the '90s. I have to tell these younger 19-year-olds that act like they've got the world all figured out at 19. I'm 55. I just turned 55 this past week. I should have told you my birthday was just recently. To October 20th is my birthday. So I turned 55 this week, and I'm looking at this shit. And I remember in the '90s this convolution of the dating scene was bad back then because they had ladies' night, ladies' night, ladies' night at these bars. And all you would do is you'd go to the bar and it would be nothing but dudes there. Everywhere. It was dudes, dudes, dudes. I'm like, where's the women? It's ladies' night. No, no. Women didn't show up for it. Dude, I think this sausage fest, this demographic change started to happen 30 years ago.
You know, and you know, it's crazy, Steve. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've seen some videos, and oh my God, I wish I had the money to travel.
I wish I could go back in
Because I
time
would
and
like to
bring.
confirm. If
Yeah.
I had the money to travel, I would have went and confirmed. Okay, why? Because I've seen more than one that shows a club full of females looking to get a guy, and at one, the gal's panning her cell phone around, and it's a club full of females. And then they're saying 10 guys showed up, and there was 80 women. Okay, and out of the 10 guys, one guy got a date, and the rest guys left with nobody, and the women left with nobody. Okay, and
Well, where did you see
that's
this?
upside down of what you just
Bill, I
said.
don't know where you get this. 80 women showed up and only 10 guys.
I didn't get this.
Where
I'm
did you
telling
see this?
you. Hold on, let me finish. I didn't say this as I said. What did I start off saying? I wished I could travel to
Oh,
confirm.
to confirm.
Why did I say to confirm?
Okay, to confirm. Okay, I disagree. If that was a hypothetical, the men would all go home, go at least get a phone number.
Because for me, it's like they're promoting this happened. You got a club full of females and they're showing you on their phone in video. But do we know that wasn't set up and staged? No, we don't.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm sorry, I was getting confused. Yeah, you're right. Well, they didn't have cell phones at the time, but they would promote it and say ladies' night. Every night would be ladies' night, and then there would
Right.
it's a
See, so what I was talking about was what you said was very accurate. In today's society, with all the crap that's going on around the internet right now, I've seen it more than one time, them showing this club crap going on.
yeah.
And for me, it'd be like, I
Right. In
need
other
to
words, they want to
travel,
still get the
be
men back.
there to see if this is not just a fucking act, a stage. That you're,
Oh, it could be
yeah,
somebody at the club, like with a live view, and it's a fake live view. They could be saying,
yeah. See what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because in today's society, we have technology that says we could create a club full of people that don't even exist.
yeah, exactly.
We could
You
place
could
that
make it
sucker on
like
the
you
internet and
could.
you'd be looking at it, ain't even real.
Yeah. You could have a live view of like some place in downtown Cleveland, and it should be 80% women, and then you go there, you pay your cover charge, and it's like, no, there's like nothing even close to this, you know?
Exactly. Maybe you walked in, they showed 80 women, and you walked in, there was two women.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, I got you now.
Now you know why I was trying to go.
Yeah.
Because it's completely upside down. What you talked about to begin with was absolutely true.
Yeah.
But then when I looked at this, it's completely flipped what you were talking about upside down, right?
Right, right.
And that's why I said, I wish I had the money to travel and go to this so-called event, right?
Hmm.
Because I'd probably walk in and find maybe two, three women and the rest guys, or you know what I'm saying? I
Right,
wouldn't find what I'm seeing. I don't trust what I'm seeing.
right. I'm not
And so I
either.
have trust issues, but how would I not?
I like, yeah,
Much lies, so much BS going on.
yeah, it
The
is.
technology with AI and
Oh
the
yeah,
stuff
I
they
don't think, but
handwrite
I don't
on.
think they can hide this anymore, Bill. I think even with AI, men are so cynical now. I think that men are just learning to accept. Okay, it's like being in a wheelchair.
Well, yeah.
You have to
The
accept your
number of
fate.
men that are alone, their TFL, has not gone down.
I
It's
don't think
only
any
gone up.
AI is going to make them change their opinion. I
No,
don't.
I don't think so neither.
I mean, your
Because
son
these
is
men are still alone.
right, right.
They're still being rejected. How's AI going to change anything? It ain't.
No.
See, they're still going to be rejected because this is what's going on for real and bang going on.
Ladies' night. It's Starlighters. It's 1997. Ladies' night. It's like, okay, I'm at Starlighters Night Lounge or this one, the winking, the winking schlong, and then I go in there and it's like just it's all dudes. It's like it was the khaki pants and the deck shoes and the baseball cap. That was real popular in the 90s.
Oh, it was ladies' night at the gay bar.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. I don't know how else to say it because might as well be a ladies' night at the gay bar
yeah.
because you're going to pay the charge to get in. And then if you want to meet a woman, what women are there? Well, they have 20 guys to choose from, each single woman. Good luck.
God,
Chances are you're going home alone.
yeah. Yeah, this whole situation's really gotten out of hand.
But that's why the demographics, I don't totally agree with Steve on the demographics. And I probably won't from what I've seen with my own eyes.
Well, seeing is not necessarily believing. I base it
I'm not
on
saying these girls ain't going to be chasing a small
because
percentage.
right now there's like you said, there's more girls being born today, but that doesn't change the fact that there's more excess males coming into the country.
Well,
Afghanistan,
no, I mean, you're absolutely correct. Okay, I don't know how many women may have been in the countries that they came out of.
yeah, they don't bring those people
You
don't
know, we don't
Arabs
know
don't
the
bring
true
their women
numbers,
over here until
and I
like
wouldn't trust the numbers of the government said it because you know they're not going to tell you the truth.
right.
And how are you going to know the actual numbers of females from the countries these guys are coming from? You're not. Because if all these guys leave that country military age, right?
Yeah,
They got a whole bunch of women over there. Well, wouldn't that make these women having trouble finding a guy over there?
right.
See, so I actually don't trust anything, but we do know that we have all this excess men coming in.
Yeah.
And that can only make it worse over here.
Mhm.
But what did it do to them?
Right.
See, I think over there they have the opposite effect
Hmm.
because these women would actually, they can't find a guy because they all went to America.
Hmm.
You know, so it's a tough situation. Which way do you go? You know,
Yeah, and let's face it, the excess mail problem. I'll close it like this, as I want to kind of get out of here. I'll talk to you when we stop the recording. Um, our wonderful military goes into these countries, brings their CIA, and they disrupt these governments. And now the cohesion of your society is your refugees basically. So where are these men going to go? They had a structured life when they lived in their own country, but now America and our stupid CIA creates what are called color revolutions, another subject, and they just create this disruption and they blow up these countries. And guess what? These excess men have no place to go but America or Europe, you know?
Yeah.
Color revolutions. I mean, this will segue into another subject another time, but I'm going to stop the recording. Stay on here. It is October the 26th, 2025. It's 11 a.m. And we've been in here about an hour. It was a good, perfect hour recording. You have a great day. I'll be right there, Bill.